Welcome back, guys. How are you been? This has been a really exciting time for us. We finally went live with our project Silvercoin Age of Monster Hunters, and it went unexpectedly good. As you can see, we basically funded within the first hour, and currently we have like 52,000. This is basically surreal. My hands are basically still shaking. I'm full of adrenaline, pumped right now. How are you feeling, Lam? Basically, going through all of this.
Feeling good. I'm feeling good. So yeah, without further ado, we are making this to share our excitement, but also to do something that is going to help community, I hope. Which is basically, to anyone watching this, we are going to take a quick look at our basically Kickstarter page. We are going to go through it, and we are going to basically discuss several points, so to make everything smoother and nicer experience for anyone who maybe is not that familiar with Kickstarter or just wants some additional information about what we have on our page. And yeah, let's just jump into it, right?
Yeah.
So
we'll basically try to be fast, quick, to don't take too much time with that podcast, but also be informative enough to basically tell you about what we thought with the certain images and what basically our page is supposed to tell you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So first we have a video. That one is clear. The video is thematically connected with the gameplay. If you want to skip over the thematic kind of gameplay without the gameplay elements, the second half of the video will have that. I think it's important because of the grand scope of our game, epicness, the thematic lore element I think is important, so that's why we did really put a lot of extra effort into making everything. Music is custom made, singing is actually done by my girlfriend, who is a professional singer. Song was written by me, so it's like, everything was done in-house, music and so on. And then we have general information about like 1 hour per player, 1 to 5 players, and for a bit older population, not a little kids because of the thematic sense. But anyway, let's just move down, and yeah, the box cover. Then again, about the game time. We had a question about the game time. So yeah, this is basically depends on the amount of people playing, but also depending on the mode you play. If you play solo or co-op, it's a bit different because each scenario will have its own objective and also its own timer, where basically things will be happening, and it will be counting down, and some scenarios may be quicker and some may be longer, but in general scenarios go quite fast and competitive. We say usually 1 hour per player, but if you're very knowledgeable about the game and so on, then it can be faster, and if you're just learning, it can also be longer, depending on then if you're analysis paralysis type of guy or not. And then moving down below, here we have just a quick snapshot of the game board and so on. Moving on, there is a 48-hour early bird. So this one I think is also clear. Basically within 48 hours, if you back since we launched the project, your name or your desired nickname or whatever can be put on the box. We will create artistic memorial, so everything will be connected thematically, and yeah, I think it's a cool feature. It doesn't also mean that someone coming to the campaign like on the 4th, 5th day, just from the holidays or whatever, will be bumped about missing this out. I mean, it's a cool thing to have, but I think it's just a nice gesture to say thank you to all of you who are making this possible in the first 24 and 48 hours, because it's a very important for us to have this healthy growth chart on Kickstarter, so we can unlock stretch goals, so the campaign is active, people are following and commenting and so on and so on. It's very important, so thank you all who have pledged till now and are going to pledge in the future. Let's move on.
Perhaps first the pledges, so people know about what they're backing, right? Which are on the right side before we continue with the remainder of the page, right? So with the pledges, we actually wanted to create something simple to not confuse people, and we basically just created effectively three pledges. And basically the first one is the Hunter Prospect, which allows you the access to Pledge Manager, and of course gives you the updates and the progression of our campaign, which is probably important to someone who is still deciding whether to back or not, right? And then we have the two standard pledges, the Base Pledge and the All-in Pledge, which I picked myself because I want the Deluxe Collector's Edition, right? And basically the only difference between the two pledges is, well, in the add-ons. Of course, even in the base pledge, as you will be able to see later on, you will be able to take all the add-ons that you want separately or all of them together. But the main thing here is that if you take the Deluxe Collector's All-in, you basically get all 4 add-ons and all of them are discounted by 25%, which I think is a cool thing because it's not much, but it basically adds up in the end. So we try to make it as simple as possible, so people don't have, because I personally really hate when I'm scrolling down the page of certain Kickstarters and there are like 7 or 20 different pledges and you're just confused which one is the base pledge, which one is the all-in, etc. Anything
There's
you want
also
to...
Yeah, there's also an additional functionality to anyone wondering. We had one question already about this. People would want to have like a new pledge where maybe there is just I don't know, coins and playmat and the main game and so on. So one reason is to simplify things. We try to do as much as possible in that department, but the second reason is also just operationally wise, to let you in into our world and why these things are important. So you are helping us with All-in Pledge, even though you get the additional discount and so on. You're helping us because when we are going to eventually start ordering things with the manufacturers, it would be awkward for us if we would have, I don't know, 300 playmats, 200 coins, 700 dice trays. It's still okay, but if there is a component that is really lower on that scale, it can create financial problems in a sense that we will just have to pay that much more because the print run of that component will be that much more smaller. So we want to incentivize for you to get the entire thing together. That's why we're also willing to drop additional funds to make that happen, but then we can ensure that everything is smooth. Of course, if we were a really big company, we wouldn't even worry about that thing, but in our case, because we're starting up and so on, this is also helping us. So thank you guys for making it easier for us also. And the additional thing that Gal didn't mention is also we were going to go to bottom of the page then later on and check it, but it's basically the 2 gifts that are given with the pledge. And just really shortly, it's about the spirit of the Kickstarter. Like I'll just briefly touch on this. The entire Kickstarter and how it's set up, for us, it's really impossible to make this game without Kickstarter. Maybe in the future that will not be the case, but for now it really is. And it took a hell of a lot of an effort, like almost 5 years of constant work, trying to manage a lot of things on a daily basis. All of us were working our asses off because it's really hard to compete for visibility in this today's Kickstarter or in general, because there are huge multi-million-dollar companies who are throwing marketing funds and have these amazing looking products and so on. So to get it on par, we had to work our asses off. We had to invest a lot and so on. So basically, that's why kickstarting is very important for us, and that's why we want to give something back to the people who made it possible. And that's why we will have Kickstarter exclusives. That's why we will have some incentives, additional incentives for people who are making this possible. For us, really, this is really a matter of existence or not, making this game a reality or not. And that's very much different than maybe later on in our journey. So yeah, that's about that. And why? So if I come back to the gifts, another aspect of Kickstarter is for me at least, the excitement of things to come, like the stretch goals, of being part of the community, building the project together, just having this awesome event where you're seeing something grow out of nothing, and gifts are something that I think is like the spirit of Kickstarter. Like, we wanted to give you something additional that you do not know what you will get, but you will get as an extra when the campaign ends, and also when you receive the game. So that's why we have two gifts. One is called Moon, and the second one is called the Dawn. And basically, it will also depend on the size of the campaign. The more funds we have, the nicer the gift we can give. And I don't know, I always found it very cool to have something, you know, special for the people to get excited about. And yeah, we can move on now.
Yeah, so moving on, basically we put here the last unlocked stretch goals. We'll talk about more stretch goals when we come to that section, but we basically just wanted to show people what was the latest unlocked stretch goal. In this case it was new event cards, 2 special new event cards added to each scenario. Hopefully you find that cool.
Here we wanted to basically, we all hate like scrolling down looking for the stretch goals that are being unlocked every single time. So we at least wanted to give you a glimpse of what is happening. If you're returning back to the page, you can always check this one and see what was unlocked the last time. So that's the functionality of this part. Sorry, move on.
Yeah, next we have just a few testimonials. You know, those two are just the one we kind of emphasized, but there are more to come later on. I think we can move on. It's not really much to say here unless you want to.
No.
Yeah. Then here is basically, you know, the main kind of overview of the game, I suppose, like the 6 different bullet points which kind of define our game, and the 6 mechanics, I suppose. So if you like talk quickly about that, you know, bidding for your starting character, location and resources using your victory points is something we really emphasize because we think it's a cool mechanic, a cool aspect of our game. We have an open world. You travel and explore that open world using action selection system, which is basically the driving mechanic of our game. Then there is a weather, season and day and night cycles, which are also a fun thing in our game, which we wanted to emphasize. There are 5 different characters, and you build those characters and you learn basically monster strengths and weaknesses when you travel the world and prepare for battles, which is basically what our game is about. It's not about the battles themselves, but preparing for those battles, learning what that monster maybe excels at, or what its weaknesses are, which circumstances or environment it, you know, it's stronger in or weaker in. So that's basically the gist of our game. Then there are 30 unique monsters. We really wanted to emphasize variety. And obviously puzzles, which is here in solo and co-op, which is, this game is playable in all 3 modes. And solo and co-op are, I think, made in a really fun way in scenario modes, which are really modular, and each of those scenarios, which we'll talk about later down, there are 10 of those, and all of them are unique. All of them offer unique gameplay and mechanics and something different losing and winning objectives, so I think they're pretty fun. And then basically the mechanics, you know, the tableau building, action selection, card drafting, auction, bidding, die drafting, hand management. As you can see, a lot of Eurogame mechanics. So our game is like, you know, like a hybrid of some sort between Ameritrash and Eurogame. So a lot of Eurogame mechanics kind of put into the, you know, this thematic world of monster hunting, of fantasy. Anything else you want to emphasize here, perhaps, none?
Just basically that those are the things that will separate our game from most of the others, like the amount of monsters, the puzzle-like nature of scenarios, which is really cool mechanically done, I think. Then there is also, you know, the weather system, the night-day cycles, how that is incorporated and how it plays the role, how you have to prepare for monster strengths and weaknesses in advance, and those things, like open world, you know, some other games use it, but then in combination with action selection and so on, that's again more unique. The way the game starts, I think it's really unique and fun. And so yeah, like, let's just move on and you know, otherwise we can be here all day.
Yeah, the next thing, the next part I really like, because, you know, we tried to emphasize and, you know, also like a visually kind of show why, you know, why back now? Why not wait until retail? Why why not skip on this project? I mean, obviously, it's up to you, and it's up to person whether they like it or not, right? But as Lan mentioned, for us this is really a matter of existence. So you know, we offer a lot of exclusive content because first of all, we didn't really know if we were going to be retail or not, right? We knew we were going to Kickstarter, but not if we're going to succeed on Kickstarter, and especially not if we're going to go to the retail. So that's why we wanted to offer exclusive content to basically kind of, you know, incentivize people. Yeah, that's the word. And incentivize people to back. The same goes with add-ons. Here it's even harder because usually less people take add-ons than the normal game, so it's harder to then even produce in more quantities. Obviously this one is the most important of them all. Help this project come to life, because without you guys this wouldn't have been possible. So thank you again, because we were able to be funded, and hopefully this even progresses so we can give you even more things to come. But yeah, exclusive price. We discounted the game quite a lot, I think, as much as we could basically. So I hope it suffices, and basically to people. Help shape the game. This one I also really like. We want to be as engaging as possible. Not just that the more people we have, the more stretch goals we'll unlock, but also that all of the community we build on this Kickstarter and we built before, right? Help us basically develop this game. So they will actively participate in development of the game, which basically states here. So we'll have like polls asking you which monster you'd like to see next, and you will pick the monster, or you'll make a community scenario, which you'll see further down the list. So a bunch of those things, which is really the, you know, the spirit of Kickstarter, as you mentioned before, Lan. And then obviously the potential expansions. As a first-time creator, it's hard to do expansions, even though we did have one, right? We created one small expansion, but this game offers so many more options, and we would really like to, you know, even create further content for this game if it would be possible. It's hard to create expansions for a first-time creator, especially because, as we said, we don't know how much people will support your project anyway, your base game. You know, expansion are another story, all in all. So yeah, the more people there are, the more bigger basically the chances are for expansions or fan-created scenarios, etc. So these are basically the main reasons, right?
Then we will not bore you, otherwise we will be here for hours. Then it's basically just a check in what's in the box and immediately the price, so you don't have to look for it below for the base game. Here things will be added later on daily or bi-daily basis of what has been unlocked and added. But other than that, we come to the pledge level, and here we go again. The base pledge and the gifts, Moon and Dawn, and then we have the deluxe all-in, the discounted 25% on all the add-ons if you go for this. You mind you that you can still choose the add-ons later on, of course, in the pledge manager, to just click on those, but you will not get the discount in this case. So yeah, this is again about the early bird and the memorial, the surprise gift, Moon and Dawn. And then below it's basically more detailed look into the add-ons. The first one is the Trinity expansion, which is cool. Excited to talk about it later on, but basically it's about 3 additional unique scenarios. Nothing more to add, let's move on. Then it's deluxe playmat. There's been so much talk about the big ass playmat that we have sent to the reviewers and so on. Maybe that was not a good decision now, looking back on everything, because it created some controversy. But on the other hand, it definitely stood out because those playmats are huge. We are talking like 100 centimeters times 120 and so on. So those are really huge. Those are exhibition copies, and those are not what you're going to see in the game. First of all, we have optimized it as a heck of a lot. We optimized the playmats and the boards heck of a lot. Like here you have the playmat, which is a bigger one. The standard board is 60 centimeters times 90, but this one is so the playmat is 70 times 90, and the 10 centimeters that you get in width, it's actually all functionality. It's basically integrating the reputation boards and the places for the improvement cards, and even the smaller monster refill board, which was the design was, by the way, voted by the community. We offered like 3 different designs for the final type of the playmat. It was community who picked which one they would like to see the most, and we listen to the community and we move on, and we come to the metal coins. This game is silver coin. It's a different feeling when you have the metal coins or if you have, you know, the cardboard.
Yep.
But both function. Both functions. It's a matter of taste of what you want. They are not needed by any stretch of imagination, but they are sure as hell nice to have. Like I'm nuts in that area. Like I have the special coins for brass. I have the special coins for packs. Like, you know, I have, you know, special coins wherever for whatever game. But that's me. Then it's a dice tray, and the design is not final. We are looking into some cool designs actually, just so you know. And yeah, this one, because there is dice chucking in this game also, so that you have a nice dice tray to chuck those dice in. Then basically we tell you how to basically do stuff, how to get an add-on and so on. Then we have stretch goals. We have unlocked the new monster. We have unlocked the bidding boards, basically two-sided are now, which is very important for asymmetrical start of the game, which is really cool.
The replayability.
I'm excited. Increased replayability. I'm really excited for people to, you know, play around with those type of things. Then moving on to new events, to each scenario. There are 10 scenarios in the base game. So that's 20 new cards immediately. Then we are now just waiting to unlock this cool feature, and you will see later on in the campaign. I will not reveal anything, but you will see later on in the campaign why this one is especially cool / important. It may not look as much, but trust me, this one is very important, and you will see later on why this one is very important. But next we have something that we have not seen, but I think it's cool. Again, it keeps the expectation, the surprise factor and so on. That's why we made it like this, and there's no other, just to make it fun and so on. So basically you can expect that now the next one will be the new monster after this one, right? It will be the new monster reveal, and it will be again special. Including you. Yeah, it will be special. It will be again including you, the community, and you will see soon what we are talking about. But we have just before we go forward, just to let you know, we have so many potential stretch goals. We had to make the list like three times. We had to make the special
selections.
How we selections. Even now we are struggling to try to talk it through with the team which ones to offer and so on, just because we have just so many things.
Always battles. Someone wants this cool content, someone wants something else, and you're always leaving something else.
But we will have everything. We will have from the luxification of components, we will have additional content, we will have increased replayability, and so on and so on. So I think it's going to be cool. It's a epic like game. It's going to be even more epic with adding stuff. So let's move on. Social goals are happening here also. It's an important one. It helps us go up on the BGG hotness track, if possible. It's a very difficult thing to achieve, but let's try it. And that's why we also are willing to offer quite a big reward for this, which is a totally new scenario, which we are going to create with community. So good luck, guys. Do your best to unlock this, because I think it's going to be a heck of a fun thing to do. Moving on, there is a music pack. Like I said, we made in-house music. We make thematic, cool music for Silver Coin, and we can do more. Get 1,000 followers on Facebook, and we are going to look into that also. Then we have gameplay stuff. Gifts. Gar, you take over, so I won't talk. I won't be not the only one talking.
So we basically have the simple basically turn phase. Also take note that it usually the game lasts for 24 rounds in the competitive, or depends on the scenario in the co-op or solo, and each round represents 1 month. And in each round there's going to be those phases which you see here. The auction phase we already talked about. You're bidding with your victory points for your starting character, location, and magic. Preparation phase, also really simple. If you ever played Tickets to Ride or Ethnos, this is a really similar simple thing. You know, you draw cards, you play cards. One of those things you play either by a color or by the symbols. So it's going to go really fast and really smooth, and it's basically your engine building of some sort. Then the action phase, the main phase of the game, as mentioned, action selection system. You're going to be using either those player actions you see here or global actions on the map. And basically when you're going to be doing them, you'll be doing all sorts of stuff on this map. In this case, you know, this guy, Natural Chaos, moved to the Temple of Priapea, where he learned protection magic. You can do all sorts of other stuff, like gathering herbs, you know, going to the capital to pick up contracts, you know, learn knowledge, etc., etc. And then endgame scoring. In competitive, you win by having the most coins, you know, silver coin. In this game, you're not heroes, you're basically mercenaries of some sort. Basically, you're doing your job. You know, monster hunting pays well, and whoever, you know, hunts the most monsters, you know, gets paid the most, is the most successful monster hunter in this business. And obviously, solo and co-op, we mentioned the 10 different scenarios, each offering different unique gameplay, as we mentioned, and hopefully we can, you know, add more. You know, one more can be added with the social goals, as you could have seen up there. But that's basically it. It's really simple gameplay, actually. You know, like a lot of reviewers, you know, tell you about all the details this game offers, which is true. But basically, the gameplay is really streamlined. So when you're going to start playing, it's a high entry point, because there are so many actions, as mentioned. Like there are like 10 plus actions you can take, and you know, so many different stuff you can do, because there's weather, seasons, everything we just mentioned, right? So this game really offers like this huge experience and a lot of options to choose from. But in the end, the gameplay is streamlined. You know, preparation phase, you're doing your engine, you're using your actions in variety of ways, and whoever has the most coins, or you know, any other winning or losing objectives a scenario might provide. This is basically it. You know, it connects well once you start playing. That's basically the main gist of it. And anyone who has played the game more than once will tell you the same thing, probably. So yeah, moving on. Unless you want to tell something else.
No. Let's move on. Here is the lore. You can read it for yourself.
Yeah.
It's basically cool lore stuff. Here we have basically stuff about the characters, about each of the characters, what makes them unique, like in 2 sentences and stuff like that. Of course, we could go more into details and how they function, but basically, really fast. Shapeshifter is about, you know, hunting the monsters, but then after she has defeated the monster, she now has the ability to turn into that monster, use the ability of the monster to fight other monsters. That's the entire concept. Then we have Natural Chaos, who is really good with the magical flow. He uses it for different things, but most importantly to create these portals. And because this map is huge, traveling really fast through these portals makes him a very unique character indeed. Also, the Natural Chaos Order lore-wise was responsible to start with the entire shenanigans, with the increase of monsters anyway. Then we have the Mercenary. This is a fighter character. She uses the color dice. She basically, when she's rolling dice, she can then replace the color dice for the white dice, those manipulating the odds in her favor, because she has this huge pool of dice that she can pick from. Then we have the Chronomancer, which is basically our graphical designer favorite, probably. And it's basically about time manipulation. He goes to the past, to the future. He has some abilities in the future, some abilities in the past, like you know, seeing things in the future while other players cannot, and manipulating things from the past, although he technically shouldn't be able to, but you know, because he's manipulating time, he is. And yeah, that's a cool concept. And the best concept about him is that he's you know, hanging from this cool bar.
Yeah.
Anyway, then we have the Seeker. He may look simplistic, however, Seeker is the guy who basically can use the hidden paths from the start of the game. He also can manipulate and use the day and night cycles to hunt monster better, because he's more adept to hunt them at the right time and so on. So yeah, he's cool also. And some people have also mentioned, yeah, here we can have character lore, as Gal was showing on our page, and you can read about the short stories about those characters. There's entire lore behind them. And then also people have mentioned, is there enough replayability? Replayability in this game is huge. like, I can be very confident about saying that the replayability in this game is extremely huge, like extremely huge. And with these 5 characters, yes. However, we do have new characters prepared for you. So yes, we, as the campaign goes positively forward, I hope we will be able to unlock new characters. So hopefully, keep my fingers crossed that we are able to do that, because adding characters is more expensive. You have to pay for the mold and so on and so on. This game is not about the minis. This game is about the content, and this game has a lot of content. But of course, if we unlock new characters, we get additional minis also, because yeah, that's it. Then let's move on. We have the how to play video, the older one from us. It's a bit outdated, but it does the job. We also have a bunch of reviews and previews down below, but here is also playthrough. Our German colleagues, Marcel and I think Andreas was his friend, did a great job showcasing it for the German people. But also we are coming with the English playthrough. Some of them I think we might be able even to do ourselves, which should be cool if we are playing the game and showing it to the people.
Yep.
And we are going to, yeah, because you can see us then, how we operate, and how we who have played these games for so many times, how we think about things, and I think it could be fun for you guys to check that out. So expect solo, co-op, and competitive playthroughs coming through by the end of this campaign. So you will definitely take a glimpse of what the game is about.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we have, yeah, like I said, a bunch of reviews. Thank you for all of the guys that were kind enough. This is not an easy game to send to the reviewers. Trust me. Reviewers don't have much of time. They have a lot of games to review. Our game takes a lot of time and devotion to basically check, to set up, to film. Usually, if you do justice to the game, you would have to play it at least a couple of times. Trust me, most or a lot of reviewers don't do that. So for our big game, it's very hard for people to do it. So thank you to all of you who've been amazing in that aspect. Then we have rulebook, also a bit updated, but just so you guys can see it in the end, they will be done by professionals. We want to keep and stick to the things that we do good, which is basically we think that we can make a good game, like development cycle, designing cycle, and so on. But the rule book writing and so on will be done by professionals. We also have some really cool stretch goals in that aspect also, which are unique, I think, for Kickstarter. But let's see how things go. So basically you can see scenario books for 2 scenarios that we basically prepared, that people can see how those work and so on. Everything is there. Same with the Tabletopia below. You have solo, competitive, and cooperative modes. You can go test the game, because we believe that anyone who wants to should have the ability to try it before buying. And then basically our partners, Pledge Manager, will be handled by Becker Kit. So I think that most of you know how that goes, but we will be sending updates when the time comes for that also. Then it's the timeline, the general timeline of how we expect things to go. We said November 23. Because we want to give ourselves a proper time to develop the game and so on. If possible, we will try to sending the game earlier, but we just wanted to make things in some realistic expectation time period. Then moving on,
Shipping.
We have shipping, custom friendly stuff for those areas that are written there. Then I think that we made it very visually clear what is happening here. I see a lot of shipping areas which are not clear, so we spent a lot of time here also, so you can quickly find your bracket. And moving down below, we will also see there are also some guys who made this game and so on. So
not
at the end of
important.
the page, if you want to check those things out, you can do that also. All the playtesters, thank you to all the partners. And yeah, basically we come to the last part, where it's basically just a bunch of stuff where you can follow us, where you can help us build community, and in the end you have the risk and challenges, which are nothing special. Usually what things are basically the same as other games. we basically didn't invent nothing new there. So that's so that's basically it. Oh, the FAQ section, frequently asked questions. We try to help you here also. We basically divide it into section and order it alphabetically so you can quickly find your question. If we will see that there are some questions that are being asked again and again in the comments, we will add them here. That's I think it, and I think that you should have a clear picture of what we wanted with this Kickstarter page and what this project is about. Gal, you want to add something?
No, basically I just want to thank everyone, for supporting us regardless. So we really didn't imagine that, and we just wanted to make these videos to basically, make it more easily for anyone who has browsed our Kickstarter page or is going to in the future, and perhaps this is going to answer some of the questions that might occur or might not be some answered in the FAQ section.
Right. It's all about creating the best possible customer experience. It sounds fancy, right? But it's basically just in the end, we are doing this for you guys who are making this possible. And if we want to do our job well, if we want you to buy our product, try to basically make this as accessible as possible to you and be available for you 24/7. And that's what we are going to be about. So you can expect more of this kind of content from us, and trying to constantly think about how we can help you in different ways, as you will also see in this campaign. So I think we'll have a cool time. And yeah, last thing I want to say before we wrap this up, let's have fun together. Like, we are so happy that you're making this possible for us, and there is so much more that we can create together before this project finishes on Kickstarter. And thank you guys so much, and thank you for the exciting times now ahead of us, and let's just have fun, because I think that Kickstarter and this kind of thing is about fun. It's about the projects like us that are basically starting from nothing but have this big dream, and are willing to put a lot of stuff into this project to make it into reality, and you guys are helping. So thanks a bunch.
Yeah, you rock. Cheers, guys.
Bye.